I thought I'd just take this time to demonstrate how to play defense. I'm no coach, but I think I know a little something. So basically, right, when an opponent has the basketball, what you want to do is you want to run and you want to put your hand up to contest the shot, because you want to make the shot as difficult as possible when they're shooting the ball, so they won't make the shot, because your job as a defender is for them to not make the shot. So what you want to do is, when they're shooting, what you want to do is you want to sprint and you want to put your hand up like that. You want to make it difficult for them. You don't want them to make the shot. You need to make that effort. I thought I'd start just by explaining that, because that's not something I saw the Lakers do in the Minnesota Timberwolves game last night. I didn't see that. So I hope you, Lakers, and the rest of the NBA community really understand how my flawless demonstration on NBA defense. Okay? Welcome back to the MC show. It's your boy. The playoffs started yesterday. This is the best time of year. It's better than Christmas. It's better than Easter, which is today. It's better than Halloween. It's better than your birthday. If you're asking me, what's better, birthday or playoffs? Birthdays are down here, playoffs are all the way up here, okay? This is my favorite time of the year, literally. Competition, the first to 16 wins. This is the kind of stuff I love. I love competition. I couldn't be happier right now, especially since I think these playoffs are going to be better than last year's playoffs. Last year's playoffs, especially in the East, were kind of boring. The West was a little more exciting, but this season I expect more competition in the East and even more competition in the West. Y'all saw that Denver Clippers game last night. We gonna try to touch on all 4 games. Don't forget to subscribe. Like, comment, subscribe, do all that good stuff. And help would be greatly appreciated. Let's try to get the subs up. We at 27 right now. I appreciate all 27 of those people. Let's get up to 30, then 40, then 50. It's a grind, but we building. I know it takes some patience, so I'm patient. Let's get the subscribers up. Let's build this community. Now let's talk hoops. So first and foremost, as I started with my, again, flawless demonstration, the Lakers got their butts whooped yesterday. 22 points, 117 to 95 against the Minnesota Timberwolves, who are now up 1-0. Now, we're all gonna do this thing where we're gonna overreact to every single game won. I'm probably gonna do it too. But you shouldn't really overreact after one game. 2 games, you can overreact. You can overreact. But for real, you really don't want to overreact after game 1. The Lakers defense was not good. They let the Minnesota Timberwolves shoot 21 of 42 from 3. Now, for all you non-math geniuses out there, don't worry, I am a math genius. That is 50% from 3. 21 threes. Now, 21 threes may be an outlier in itself, but the Minnesota Timberwolves were the 4th best 3-point shooting team by percentage in the league this season. They shoot threes. Anthony Edwards made 323s this season, was the best 3-point shooter this season. And I watched him make a bunch of threes. I watched Jaden McDaniels, who went 3. I got the box score right here. Jaden McDaniels went 3 of 3. Yes, 3 of 3 from 3. Julius Randle, 4 of 6. Anthony Edwards, 4 of 9. Mike Conley, 2 of 3. Naz Reid, 6 of 9. 23 points off the bench. I mean, the 2 worst 3-point shooters on the team were Dante DiVincenzo and Nickeil Alexander Walker, who combined went 2 for 11. But when you get that kind of production from everybody else, they're going to be a hard team to stop. This wasn't a game where Anthony Edwards dominated. He had 22 points, but he was 8 for 22. He wasn't really super efficient. But again, when you get that kind of production from Jaden McDaniels, who was 11 of 13 overall, Julius Randle gives you 16, and Naz Reid gives you 23, and everybody else chips in a little bit here, it is a good recipe for success. And maybe not all 4 wins that you need to get, but at least for one game. Games like this where your role players really step up, like those are important for their confidence and for their reliability later on in the playoffs. Now, if you're a Lakers fan and maybe you're the Lakers players, you're like, listen, Jaden McDaniels isn't an offensive threat like this. He's not going to go 11 for 13. Possible. Julius Randle isn't someone who shoots 4 or 6 from 3 all the time. You can say that. Yes, absolutely. Naz Reid ended up going 8 for 12. He is a good player. He's one of the best bench players in the league, but is he going to go 8 for 12 again? No. However, the Lakers gave up so many wide open threes, it was concerning. The effort was not there. The effort that they played with from, I want to say, January to March, maybe even early April, their defensive intensity, it was not there. They could not contain dribble penetration for nothing. And this is probably going to be their biggest problem when facing teams, facing guards who can get to the paint. They don't have they don't have a Derek White. They don't have a Drew Holiday. They don't have Nickeil Alexander-Walker or Jaden McDaniels. The 2 guys on the other team, they don't have players like that. They have Gabe Vincent, who's a good point of attack defender. They have DFS. LeBron has really shown when he's locked in, he can still be a fine defender, but they were just letting the Timberwolves get into the paint. Once they get 2 feet in the paint, it's drive and kick, and they got so many open threes off the catch. Like it wasn't anybody really creating on their own. It was guys creating for others. They got so many wide open catch and shoot threes that it was a real concern for me in this first game. Again, don't want to overreact, but when you let the team, one of the best 3-point shooting teams in the league, get that many open shots, it's a problem. And they need to fix that for their next game. Offensively, they need improvement too. Luka had 37. Yes, 37. LeBron had 19, but I wouldn't say he was great offensively this game. He needs to be better. Austin Reeves did struggle. He started the game off 1 for 6 in the first half. Did pick it up a little bit in the second half. The Lakers did make it interesting. They cut the lead from, I believe the biggest lead was like, if it wasn't 30, it was damn near 30, maybe like 27. They cut it to 12, but again, the Minnesota Timberwolves would go on to get a wide open 3 of Naz Reid, Anthony Edwards, you name it. And offensively, they just couldn't match it. Luka was cooking. He had 37, like I said, but nobody else on the Lakers really were that good offensively. They shot the 3 ball not too badly. They made 16 threes, but when you're giving up 21 threes and all of those threes were good looks, then the math game doesn't really math too much. The Lakers be better on defense. Your guys in Austin Reeves and LeBron James, like those guys have to be really solid defensively. Excuse me, they have to be solid offensively. Not that they don't have to be solid defensively, but they need to score if they want to beat the Timberwolves. Next game we're going to talk about is we're going to touch on the Knicks-Pistons game. Knicks end up winning. Let me take a look at this. Knicks end up winning by 11. The story of the game was the fourth quarter. 40-21. Obviously Knicks. Sometimes when I'm listening to other people talk about young teams in the playoffs, sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes I'm thinking, oh, inexperience, sometimes it could be a little overblown. Sometimes people can make a point about it too much. Not to say that having experience isn't an advantage, but if you've shown throughout the regular season that you are capable of like winning close games, for example, you have shown the capabilities, even though the playoffs are a different beast, to at least win close games your style. The Detroit Pistons were a good defense and they competed very well in this game. But the story of this game is the fact that the New York Knicks went on a 21-0 run and blew this game wide open. They were up, and when I say they, I mean the Detroit Pistons were up 8. It was 98-90. 21-0 run. They were turning the ball over like crazy. When you talk about inexperience, that's inexperience. They had like 5, 6, 7 turnovers in the fourth quarter. They were just throwing the ball away. There wasn't a lot of composure that they showed. That's inexperience. And then you have on the other side, Jalen Brunson getting to the basket. You have Karl-Anthony Towns getting to the basket. You have Josh Hart cutting, getting open layups. Mikal Bridges hit mid-range jump shots. Like, you just had a team in the Knicks who they dug deep down and they were able to get the stops that they needed to get and be able to capitalize by scoring on the other side. That was the big story of the game. Jalen Brunson, who struggled a lot in the first half and actually did sprain his ankle, he ended the game though with 34 points, 8 assists, 23 and 11 for Karl-Anthony Towns, 10 of 14 from the field. Great offensive game. OG, who's been cooking offensively for like the past month, 25 points, and you get like you get 13 from Hart, and you get 14 points in 14 minutes for Cam Payne. Cam Payne, all 14 of his points were in the fourth quarter. That 21-0 run that the Knicks went on, a big part of it was Cam Payne just coming in, giving a lot of effort. If you remember a few years ago when he was on the Phoenix Suns, like, he was actually good. He's not a bad player. He's not a bad backup point guard. Role players, the reason why role players are important because you might have one role player, maybe two, who can have that kind of run. And you may not be able to replicate it every game, but it's in there. And Cam Payne came into the game in the fourth quarter and really turned the game on its head, was able to take the lead, extend the lead. A big part of it was because of him. So Detroit, don't turn the ball over. Stay composed. They were playing very, very good the first 3 quarters. They really messed up in the fourth quarter. Turnovers were a big problem. Turnovers, keep your composure, guard well. Don't let Karl-Anthony Towns or Jalen Brunson get to the basket as easily as they did in the fourth quarter. When the run started to grow and grow, you just saw that the defensive intensity just wasn't there like it was earlier in the game. So they need to do a better job on that. Third game, it was a start. Milwaukee versus the Indiana Pacers. Indiana Pacers, I mean, just destroyed them. They beat they behind, bro. They spanked them real bad. 98 to 115. Excuse me, 98 to 117. On the Milwaukee side, you had a good game from Giannis. Giannis had 36 and 12. One thing I didn't see though, he only had 1 assist. And I think a really big reason why is that nobody else was really making their shots. They as a team shot 41%. AJ Green, he gives you 15 off the bench. Gary Trent gives you 14. Kevin Porter Jr. gives you 12. But a lot of those shots that they made was just self-created shots. It wasn't like Giannis was playmaking. He wasn't bad playmaking at an awful rate, but nobody else could hit their shots. Nobody else could get wide open shots. A lot of these shots that all these other guys on the bench made was just self-created shots. The Milwaukee Bucks need more from their other guys. Damian Lillard has been reported to come back in game 2 or game 3, so that's obviously going to be a really big help. But Kyle Kuzma, 21 minutes. How can you have this stat line in 21 minutes in a playoff game? 0 points, 0 rebounds, 0 assists, 0 steals, 0 blocks, 0 for 5 from the field, 0 for 2 from 3-point line, 0 for 2 from the free throw line. He didn't even have a turnover. 2 fouls. How can you have that stat line in a playoff game? They traded him for Chris Middleton for a reason. And it was to give them a little bit more scoring punch. He's also 6'9", 6'10", switchable. For you to literally 21 minutes of cardio. That's what Kyle Kuzma did. You know that Tony Snell stat line, that 0.0, that, you know that Tony Snell stat line? We need to upgrade it to a 2025 version of Kyle Kuzma, because he was awful. He was absolutely awful. They need more from their guys. 36 and 12, you can't ask Giannis to do more in 38 minutes as well. And you go on the other side, the Indiana Pacers offense was just clicking all night. They got so many wide open looks the entire time. Halliburton had 10 points, 7 rebounds, but he had 12 assists. Didn't shoot the ball great. He was only 3 for 13. But I don't know how many times he did a look away pass or no look pass. Like, he was just slicing and dicing this very, very poor Milwaukee Bucks defense. A big reason why I personally have the Indiana Pacers winning is because their offense is hard to beat. They play so fast if you miss a shot, they play so fast off free throws. If you make a shot, like, it doesn't matter. They're able to push the pace, and the Milwaukee Bucks just aren't a good transition defensive team. So there can be a lot of points to be had in transition for the Indiana Pacers. But in the half court too, I just thought they were cooking in the half court. You have 25 from Siakam. You get 19 from Miles Turner. Andrew Nembhard, I thought, was very aggressive, especially to start the game. He was getting to the basket at will, bumping Brook Lopez many of times. I thought his defense was very good. He was phenomenal yesterday. And off the bench, you get good games from Benedict Mathurin. You get good games from TJ McConnell. Overall, the Indiana Pacers offensively just had a very, very good basketball game, moving the ball in transition, getting into the paint, kicking it out for wide open threes. Milwaukee Bucks defense it wasn't there tonight. It wasn't. Only 5 turnovers too. Like, they took care of the ball. And then we do have to give credit to the Indiana Pacers defense. Indiana Pacers are basically the same team as they were last season, but there's one big difference with this team. Remember, the Indiana Pacers won 50 games this year. I know it may not seem like it, but they were a very, very good team. They're a good defensive team now. They finished 14th in defense. That's above average. 15th is average. They finished right above average. Last season they were 24th? They were a bottom 10 defense last year. They're an above average defense this year. They really, really, really took the defensive side of the ball seriously. Their guys are flying around. Andrew Nembhard, Aaron Nesmith, Ben Shepherd, TJ McConnell. Like, they're just flying around being very, very destructive. Again, they didn't stop Giannis. It's hard to do that. He had 36 and 12. But their defensive intensity, their focus, their energy, like, you see a very, very big difference. And this is why I do think that they're a more dangerous team. They're a better team than they were last year, even though 95% of their roster is essentially the same. So shout out to them. Milwaukee, you might get Damian Lillard back next game, if not game 3. But definitely role players have to step up for Milwaukee. And Kyle Kuzma don't have 0 points, 0 rebounds, and 0 assists. Last but not least, my personal favorite playoff series out of all the first round series, the Denver Nuggets and the Los Angeles Clippers. Denver wins by 2 in overtime. This was a fantastic game to look at. It was absolutely fantastic. Real quick box score, James Harden led the Clippers, 32 points, 11 assists, 6 rebounds. I thought he was absolutely fantastic. Zubac, 21 points, 13 rebounds. Kawhi had 22. Norman Powell had 12. So their starters all came to play for real. Denver side, you have Jokic, almost triple-double, 29, 9 rebounds, 12 assists. 25 for Aaron Gordon, he was fantastic. Jamal Murray had 21, 9, and 7. Westbrook, although 5 for 17 from the field, he did have 15 points, he did have 8 rebounds, and he did have the play of the game in overtime. And honestly, in the fourth quarter as well. This is going to be an amazing, amazing series. You have Nikola Jokic and the Denver Nuggets, who just fired their coach with 3 games remaining in the season, along with their general manager, David Alderman, their assistant is now the interim, leading this team to the playoffs for the first time. And they fought. They fought really, really hard to get this game. They were down, I want to say 15 points. The Clippers in the first half were playing really, really well. But to end those last few minutes of the second quarter, the Denver Nuggets went on a 13-1 run. And they were able to keep the game within 4 at halftime. They come out in the second half and it's a lot of back and forth. Kawhi finished with 22, had 12 of those points in the fourth quarter. Kind of was a non-factor a little bit towards the end of the game. They're gonna need a little bit more from him. Again, James Harden was fantastic, 32, 6, and 11. He's a guy who he gets a lot of hate for his playoff woes. He has a lot of games where he's like 2 for 11, 4 for 11, but he was fantastic today. But they fought. They fought. When I say they, I mean the Denver Nuggets. They really, really fought. The one guy who was awful, I gotta say, is Michael Porter Jr. 3 points, 1 of 4 from the field. He only played 26 minutes compared to the Russell Westbrook, who played 34. At the end of the fourth quarter, you have the Nuggets, who are down by 2 points. Excuse me, they're down by 1 point. Westbrook gets the ball, shoots a 3, he hits it. They're up by 2 now. There's 23 seconds left to go. You have the Clippers with the ball. They call a timeout. James Harden in 5 seconds gets like the easiest shot maybe of the night. He gets into the lane, hits a floater. They're tied 108-108. Then Denver has the ball. They don't even get off a shot. With like 3 seconds left, Westbrook ends up like fumbling the ball. They don't even get a shot off. That's horrible. If you are tied, at the very least you can do is get up a shot. Even if the shot is like a brick, like it hits backboard, doesn't hit rim at all, you have to at least get off a shot. So they end up going to overtime. Fast forwarding all the way to the last few seconds, they're down 3, 107-110. The Clippers are. They're inbounding the ball, and Westbrook, like, he did turn the ball over in regulation, at the end of regulation, but he comes up big. James Harden is getting the ball and he gets in front of it, knocks it away, and knocks it off James Harden's left hand. And they get the ball, they hit their free throws, they're up 5, and they end up winning the game by 2 points. Back and forth for the entirety of the second half. Big shots from Jokic or Westbrook. Jamal Murray would hit a couple jump shots. Kawhi, Norman Powell, Zubac, he had 8 points in the first quarter. He was cooking. He did as best of a job you can on Jokic. He might be the best Jokic defender in the league right now. It's hard to stop that guy, but he did his best. In games like this, it's a few plays here, it's a few plays there. It's the Westbrook turnover, forcing the turnover. It's a foul here. James Harden was in foul trouble throughout the night, actually. This was a very good back and forth game. This was by far the best game yesterday. We'll see how these games go off today. In a couple hours, you got the Memphis Grizzlies and the Oklahoma City Thunder. I'm assuming that's going to be a blowout. If I'm wrong, I would love to be wrong. I want to see a clutch game. This is the playoff series I thought was going to be the best and the most challenging to pick. I kind of was leaning Clippers just because I think they have so many guys to throw at Jamal Murray. But they have Chris Dunn, they have Kawhi, they have Derrick Jones Jr. They can all throw at Jamal Murray and make it difficult for him. Aaron Gordon, who I didn't even really, I said he had 25 points, but he was fantastic. He was taking it to the basket. He went to the free throw line 10 times, hit 8 of them. He was so aggressive, hunting mismatches and capitalizing off of that. This is going to be a great series. It's hard to just criticize the Clippers, but you just need a play here, a play there, a defense stop here, not turn the ball over in critical moments, and this might be a different outcome. This was a great start to the playoffs. Tyrese Halliburton and Damian Lillard were trash talking. So I can't wait for Damian Lillard to come back and see how this Indiana-Milwaukee series pans out. More playoff games today, more game ones. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you think about the playoffs so far, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.